Well, like it or not, 2020 is come and gone, and so I think it's time to do another market review of my favorite cars in 2020. These are all Hot Rod 911s that have been backdated. Backdated meaning it has that long hood nose to it. These are my favorites, so let's get going. First up is this 1975 beautiful twin turbo RSR look, 3.8 liter by Patrick Motorsports. It's got GT3 crankshaft, GT2 cams, all the best intake, twin turbos. It's got coilovers in the rear, large headers, the G50 trans. The interior is pretty bold, although it's really well done. The craftsmanship and the materials are top notch. I like the blue seat buckets. You know, whoever buys this car is really looking to make a statement, and this interior definitely does that. However, it's not for everyone. The trunk area is beautifully finished, large fuel cell. It's got an electric air conditioner, I believe. Build quality on this one is just excellent. Those taillight housings are incorporated into the fenders. Did a great job on that. Looks really smooth. Amazing fit and finish here. I like these retro style gauges with the green face. Really well done. I'm not surprised this one didn't sell. It was bid to $230,000 just this month in December. It's gonna take probably $300,000 or $400,000 plus to sell this one. This blue car is an amazing backdate from 1980. It's got a 3.6 liter engine from a 993. First thing that I notice about this car that differs from the first one is the large 17-inch wheels with the low profile tires. Just gives this car a more modern look. The interior is a bit more conventional, but very well done. It looks great. I think those gauges are stock SC gauges. Through the hood filler is a nice custom touch. Trunk area looks great, really tidy. I think that's a useless strut bar brace, by the way. Front bumper is vented for either the brakes or the oil cooler. Nice modification there. Looks to be a mostly stock 993 engine with some stainless no heat headers on the back. Bolt-in roll bar that's upholstered. Beautiful touch. Transaxle is a beefed up 915 with a limited slip differential and an aluminum side plate. It's got coilovers front and rear with a bump steer kit. Really well done. Adjustable rear sway bars, 930 brakes. A lot of upgrades here. I love this guy driving barefoot with shorts. It's awesome. This car did sell for $275,000, but just this month. It's a really good sale. Now we have another SC in this beautiful tangerine color. This one has great build quality, black trim up front. The simple interior, looks like they added pop-out windows. I love the polished bumperettes in the back. I don't love the exhaust hole that was left open on the bumper corner. It's got a roll bar installed. However, it looks like a generic one. Doesn't fit really that great with the roof. The interior has these great silver dot gauges that look older, but it looks like they just put I think these might just be silver dots on top of the SC gauges. Great gaps here on the deck lid, the rear. This is a steel hood, by the way. It's a great conversion, really well done. In the trunk area, there's a few untouched areas that aren't quite finished, covered up in just the standard SC carpet. That front latch panel is the 73 latch panel, so that's good. Very clean engine with SSI heat exchangers. Has some hard Rebel Racing suspension mounts or engine mounts. This is a mostly stock SC engine with carburation, adjustable front and rear sway bars. This one did sell just in December. It's a great buy. I like this car a lot. The only thing I would potentially change on this, so the tires in the back are only 205s. Looks like with those flares, the SC flares, it could go just a little bit wider. Otherwise, I really do like this car. And next up, we have another SC. This one's in black with a stock 3-liter engine. This was recently repainted at a cost of, according to the seller, $17,000. Paint looks pretty good to me. It's got all black trim, but that chrome mirror kind of stands out to me for some reason. Looks out of place. The interior is mostly stock except for this Momo wheel, the Prototipo. Most people use that one, and it also has aftermarket radio. The engine bay looks a little bit tired, all stock, probably 180 horsepower SC engine. Not much hot rod in this one. Here's some shots of some metal work that doesn't look too bad, but doesn't look too great either. I think that's kind of indicative of this car in general. This is a great buy though for $37,000. This one is on the lower end of my favorite cars. Next up is this beautiful car, which actually isn't a backdate. It's a 1973, but it's been highly modified with these ST wide body flares. It's got a twin plug 3.0 liter. I like this color. This is one of the colors I was considering for my car. This one has a lot of race car upgrades. These look like they're probably battery and fuel cutoffs for racing. This is reportedly a 300 horsepower engine by SuperTech. The interior looks mostly stock for a 73. Looks like a driver, a little bit of wear in it, kind of a race car mode. See, it's got a full roll cage, racing seats, also removable door bars, I believe. On the engine, it's stainless steel heat exchangers again, no heat. This engine uses MFI, which is also pretty unique, pretty cool. MFI stands for mechanical fuel injection. This has adjustable anti-roll bars, front and rear. I'm not sure why the tire is poking up like that. Has a fire suppression system. It's really a full-on race car. This one was bid to $145,000, did not sell. It's a nice car though. Now we have a blue 1975 RSR look, 3-liter engine. I love the aggressive tires and exhaust on this car, plus the ducktail and the blue and the black really looks good to me. This car has lots of custom craftsmanship. That's a hand-built 30-gallon fuel tank. Lots of craftsmanship in this one. This is a mostly stock 3-liter SC engine with carburetors. This interior looks a little bit dated to me. This kind of reminds me of the 90s hot rod scene a little bit. And that's kind of a strange place for a tire. And I'm hoping that that roll bar isn't just bolted to that shelf. Here's some more custom fabrication on the roof here. It's a big roof vent, really nice quality. Looks like S aluminum brake calipers there in the front. The exhaust from the underside looks a little bit janky. I'm sure it's homemade. Here we have some chrome bezels on some kind of mismatched gauges, some silver dots, some aren't. It's got 950 trans with stainless steel header. So this one was no sale at $86,000. I think this one needs a special buyer. Number 7 on my list is this beauty right here. This is a 1984 Carrera backdated RSR, 3.2 liter. I love all the chrome trim on this and how it matches throughout the car. This one is built by a builder who's done a few of these. His name is Dave Kealoha, and he does an amazing job on these RSR builds. I love the 15-inch tires and the stance. Everything just seems to fit. It's really well done, nice upgrades, great build quality on this one. It's running a mostly stock 3.2 liter engine. Does have some Rebel racing components on the suspension, adjustable sway bars here in the front. Looks like raised spindles with the bump steer kit as well. Really nice upgrades. Vented front bumper, probably for the oil cooler and also the brakes. Interior looks nice and fresh, great looking gauges, silver dots, nice and basic. He has a certain formula that people seem to like, so I like every upgrade. Simple door cards, really nice bucket seats. Interior trunk is clean. Also, no heat headers on this one. It's got big red brakes. This was bid to $136,000 and did not sell. I think this has been the second or third time this car's been sold. I think it originally sold for much more than that, but 2020 is just kind of a crazy year. This car I think is worth more than this. Next up is another SC backdate. This one's an RS clone with the RS bumper, kind of like my car. It has a ducktail 3-liter engine. This one has the larger wheels again, 17-inch. Kind of takes away from that period RS look, but it is a nice car. The fit and finish in this one is not that great. You can see this is, I think, a fiberglass hood. With the hood open, you can see some kind of gaping holes there, which just kind of screams, you know, backdate kit. Mostly stock interior with the exception of the seats. And the engine, stock. I think the suspension, also stock. Not many upgrades on this one, but it looks like a fun car to drive. That may be a Carrera oil cooler, I'm not sure. This one did sell for $75,000 in the summer of 2020. Someone's gonna be really happy with that one. Okay, last but not least is this aggressive 1987 Carrera RWB project. And this one is a super wide body. This guy here, Akira Nakai, is the man. He just has a tendency to make everything really, really wide. Puts these huge flares on the cars, and it's, you know, kind of a polarizing build. You either like them or you hate them. This one has another bold interior. Lots of yellow on the inside, mostly stock interior, I think with backdated gauges. More yellow here in the trunk area. And oh boy, it's got a yellow fan too. This engine's 3.2 liter, has individual throttle bodies, really well done. Brakes are stock, although the suspension is updated with these Moton adjustable coilover suspension, both front and rear. Back wheels are very wide. These are 315 tires. Custom exhaust by Fab Speed. This one was bid in January to $98,000, did not sell. Not sure why. A lot of people, like I said, either love or hate this look, but it is what it is, $98,000. Some of those really aggressive hot rods are difficult to sell, especially the RWB one. You know, those tires are huge in the back and the engine is probably not really up to the task. That's a stock 3.2 liter engine. It probably makes 210 horsepower at the most. And it's really not that well balanced. I think the draw to those is more of the kind of art form of creating something that's aesthetically appealing. But in terms of driving performance, not so much a hot rod. In fact, those tires take a lot of torque just to get them to rotate. So you're probably losing some performance at the expense of aesthetics. So for me, I have a different viewpoint on that. I would rather have more performance and less aesthetics, but everyone's different, and that's kind of the beauty of looking at these cars. Really just understand what the trends are, what people like, what the market says. And I did this last time. I'm going to be updating the charts that really kind of highlight a few trends that you can pick out of these 9 cars. The number one driver for desirability and what jacks up the price on these cars seems to be, again, build quality. Build quality is a little bit subjective. I did see some things in the pictures that gave me some clues as to how well it was built. The 2 cars that got a 10 were the first 2, the one by Patrick Motorsports and the second blue car that sold for $275,000. To me, those were a 10. The lowest one on the scale would be the black SC. It was a pretty tired car, no real upgrades to it. The price will increase as the build quality increases on that scale of 1 to 10. The other thing I looked at was how many upgrades every car had on a scale of 1 to 10 and how that affects the price. And you get a pretty stable trend upward as cars like the first twin turbo car, that was a 10 in terms of upgrades. It commanded or didn't even sell for that price. It probably deserves a lot more. And you can see the cars that weren't that upgraded, they're mostly just stock suspension, stock engines. Those cars sold for less, no surprise. Horsepower is a little bit less of a driving trend. Some cars without a lot of horsepower will sell for a lot. This one's almost flat. If you took out the 500 horsepower car, it would almost be a flat line. And then I looked at the effect of the RSR widths on the flares and the rear tires. So the rear tire size or the rear wheel width doesn't have a strong influence. So some of the really wide RSR cars get a slightly higher price point than some of the narrow like RS or SC flare cars, but it's not a real strong driver. The other thing I looked at was the year of the car, and not a real strong line on this one. This one's essentially flat, being the slightly earlier cars are a little bit more favorable. In California, that makes a difference for smog regulations. Some of these cars couldn't even be driven in California because they're late model cars. Anything after 75 has to have original equipment or newer equipment all in stock form and able to be driven on our roads. Other thing I looked at was the average price of 2018. The 8 cars in 2018 was $118,000, the average sale price. In 2020, that average sale price was $130,000. However, there were 2 cars that were way above the rest, and those were professionally built cars, twin turbo. If you take those 2 cars out that were $200,000, almost $300,000, the average is $95,000. So I think it's probably somewhere in between there. Probably values and interest level on these hot rods has remained pretty steady, pretty flat at around, $75,000 for a bare bones backdate to about $115,000 would be something that had been mildly upgraded, highly desirable. So what does that mean for my car? Well, I said some things that were a little bit hypocritical. My car has a 912 engine in it, which is underperforming for the aggressive upgrades that it has. That's all temporary, and that's going to change. 2021 is going to bring in new engines for this car and really increase its performance, increase its value. I never intend to sell this car, but if I had to put a price on it right now, it's unfinished. It doesn't even drive, probably like $20-something thousand, and that's going to change. This year is going to be a great year for this car. I'm really excited. Thanks for checking it out. See you soon.